I'm a fashion designer and my style is tragic. Today I'm auditing my entire wardrobe like a corporate psycho and rebuilding my style from scratch.
Not our fault you have no taste.
And she has a degree?
I graduated during the pandemic, therefore no creative job, therefore corporate girl era, and my style slowly died. Every promotion, less color, every range more gray, and every year less me. You would think that I would make myself something, right? But, you know, I went a bit too hardcore into the sustainability arena that I decided that the most ethical and sustainable thing to do was nothing. No buying, no making, just hoarding donated things for later. And now I have over 200 items and nothing to wear. So obviously, I made a PowerPoint.
But before getting to the data, we need to talk about the damage. I went through every single item I own, category by category, and assigned each piece a fate. Red means it's gone, is now donated or sold. Blue means it has potential but needs a lot of work. Black and white means it's beyond saving, unfortunately, it's now getting recycled. And anything left untouched actually gets to stay untouched, which you'll see is not a lot. So now there's actually nothing to wear, but that is kind of perfect because if I'm rebuilding my entire wardrobe, I am not guessing. I went full research mode, style analysis, color analysis, Kibbe body typing, and even gestural profiling. I basically turned my fig jam into a conspiracy board with all the creators that I've been binge watching. I will link all of the videos below because honestly they carried the entire process. First, I needed to figure out what I'm even drawn to. I used Ellie-Jean's style route system, which basically forces you to choose between two vibes at the same time. So instead of spiraling on Pinterest for hours, you actually make decisions. I went through all of my saved looks, started noticing patterns, same silhouette, same fabric, same little details showing up again and again. Then I mapped everything onto her style matrix. So instead of thinking, oh, I like this outfit, I actually know why I like it. Then came color analysis, which as a fashion designer should not have been this hard for me. So I broke it down with a lot of granularity, and perhaps that will be helpful for you as well if you're struggling. To define whether or not my hair was cool toned or warm toned, I pulled up a chart with different brown colors to see which one fits me the most. It was cool. Did the same thing for the skin, also was cool. Did the same thing for the eyes, that was not a surprise, they're blue, so they're definitely cool tone. Then I turned my photos black and white to figure out the contrast. Turns out I sit somewhere in the middle. The hardest part was figuring out if my features in general present more bright or soft. More or less if the color is clean or it is a bit more ashy or grayish. Everything about me leans a little bit ashy. So after ranking all of my features by what stood out the most, I landed on soft summer. Then I moved on to body typing, measuring length, width, and shape. And even traced my body, which helped a lot because it showed that all of my features are more or less like square and a bit sharper. Then I did the Kibbe test and landed on dramatic classic. So now I have rules, I have data, and I have personality crisis, but a structured one, which means we can finally build something better.
I cataloged every single item I own, and what I found was concerning. Welcome to the State of My Shitty Wardrobe, a data-driven identity crisis 2026 edition. According to the recent EU data, an average person owns 198 pieces of clothing. About 22% of them are not used throughout the year, and only 2% of them are from secondhand sources. I ran the data on myself, and we are not average. I own 217 pieces of clothing. Items that are not used is around 36%. Luckily though, there's a redeeming factor. 65% of my wardrobe are pre-owned. 15% of them are handmade and the rest are new sources. But there's more to it. Normally about 78% of a wardrobe is actively worn. In my case, it's only 33%. And that's predominantly driven by the fact that I need to rework or donate a shit ton of my clothing. Technically, I don't have a wardrobe, I have a workshop. There's a significant chunk of clothing that stays in my wardrobe, and there is a little subsection of it that I will need to try and replace eventually. So things are fine as they are now and I will wear them, but I will try to switch them out for something a bit more sustainable, a bit more fashion. There's an insane amount of things that I need to fix, and a little chunk of them that I will fix and donate, because I'm not about to go try and donate a piece of clothing that is broken that nobody ever will use and it will end up in a landfill. This one is my favorite. What do you guess is my current clothing satisfaction score after I tried on 217 pieces of clothing? It is, drumroll, 5.4 out of 10. So it's kind of an abysmal situation. This one is also a lot of fun actually. This is my clothing satisfaction route. So this red line is a divider between the things that I didn't like, so scored 1 to 5, and the things that I loved, which is 6 and above. And what is fun is that there are 3 distinct categories that have played the biggest role in defining whether or not I like an item, and style was the biggest one. Secondary factor was material and color, but even though style is the most significant factor, it's actually not as important in my future decision making. Here's why. If the item style doesn't fit me, I can change it. If the color is not what I like it, I can dye it. But if the material is shit, there's nothing I can do about it. Material is the one part that stays constant, so that is something I have to pay super close attention to. So on all the 217 pieces, an average item age is 8.7 years, and I have had them for 4.9 years. But on the things that I'm keeping now, the stuff that I'm enjoying more, they're older, so it shows me that I prefer items that have a bit more additional history, and my hypothesis is that because those items are of higher quality. In terms of item sources, I have multiple distinct categories. There's way more, but these are the top 5. I have the most amount of stuff from my ex's mother, and she has insane high quality pieces. Success rate with her closet is about 55%. Turns out emotional baggage is quite sustainable. But the most important, most significant success rate is with Humana, which is a secondhand store in Estonia. 64% of the clothing pieces that I found there are amazing, and I'm keeping them. Quite a significant portion of the chart is clothing that I got from my sister, and those are the worst offenders in a sense. My success rate with her clothing is only 17%, so those just do not fit my style. Also, handmade pieces, I've made quite a bunch of them, and the success rate is 49%, so you know, most of the stuff that I've made is not really a vibe, but we're talking about pieces that I made since I was 12, 13, 14 learning to sew, and I never threw them out, so you know, I am giving myself some grace here. So this is the overall color palette of my current wardrobe. 52% of that is neutral, so black, white, beige, brown, all of those kind of grayish. 27% of my entire wardrobe is black. I don't even like black. I don't understand why it's here. Definitely tells me that those are remnants of the wardrobe that I received from other people. Look at the graph. Look at the graph. Studies show that subscribing to this channel increases the chances of successful projects by 1 billion%. I'm the study. Subscribe.
So here's the plan. Fuck fast fashion and fuck synthetics. On the things that we are going to be doing though, we're going to be thrifting and altering them to fit my style, dyeing the fabric that is very nice but doesn't fit my color palette now, fixing what's broken but in an artsy way, and the most exciting of them all is actually treating the missing gaps in my wardrobe as a proper fashion collection. I'll be designing again. I'm currently testing out the most viral corset pattern on the internet. I've already sunk an insane amount of hours into that project, so now the question is it actually worth it or terribly overhyped? You'll find out in 2 weeks. So if you're into alternative design, some chaos, and a little bit of random data, subscribe to see if I can actually pull this one off.